Hi guys, it is a lovely Wednesday afternoon. I've just put my boys down for their nap and I am sitting here with my morning cup of coffee, which I never got to finish this morning. And if you're a mom of toddlers, you know exactly how that goes. So today I wanted to sit down with you guys and I wanted to share a video talking about 10 things that I do or don't do to help save money. Now, it's 2024. We all know how expensive things have gotten and how hard it can be today to live within our budget. So these are 10 things that I do that help to save money here and there. And although these are just little things, you'd be surprised at how much a little savings here and there can really add up and help you stay within your budget. My husband and I live off of one income right now, so it's really important for us to have a budget and to try as best as we can to stay within that budget. So we're always trying to find ways here and there that we can save money. So here are some ideas, some things that I do or don't do to help save money. Hopefully these ideas can be inspiring or helpful to you. Take what you can, and if it doesn't work for you, then by no means do you need to use it. Also, I just want to say that this is by no means an absolute list of things that I never do. Like some of these things I'll occasionally do. So for example, one of my tips is going to be that I don't go out and buy coffee at a coffee shop. But just this morning I met a friend to hang out and we were at a coffee shop and I got a coffee. So it's not like I never do these things, but as a general rule, these are things that I try to stick by to help save money. Okay, first off, I do not regularly go and get manicures or pedicures at the salon. Now, as much as I would love to do it, it's so relaxing. And from time to time, I will go get a pedicure or I will go get a manicure. If it's a special occasion, right now in my third trimester, it's a little harder to reach my feet. So I've gone a couple times and I've gotten a pedicure. But for the most part, I avoid going to the salon because it's just so unaffordable. So actually what I've done years ago, I invested in one of the LED lights so I could do the gel polish for my nails. And I actually don't paint my nails all the time. A lot of times they're just left unpainted. But if I do want to paint them and if I do want, to look a little bit nicer for a special occasion, I have some gel nail polish and I will actually do my nails that way. And so that has helped to save a ton of money because $40, $50, $60 every time you go in to get your nails done or your feet done, and it really adds up. So that's the first thing that I do is I do my nails at home and I don't regularly visit the nail salon. Okay, so since we're on the topic of beauty, and nowadays there's so much stuff out there that is lovely but can get so expensive when it comes to beauty products or beauty services. And so I really stay pretty minimal with all the services that I go do. I don't go get regular facials. I don't go get regular, like I said, manicures or pedicures. And I also don't get my lashes or my eyebrows done. So once again, as much as I would love to go regularly get my eyebrows tinted or even just get them waxed, it's just another way that I can save money. So I've learned to do it at home. I do it myself, and that's a way that I can save money month to month. Staying with the same topic of beauty and self-care, I also have stopped dyeing my hair regularly. So I can post a picture here to show you how I used to have my hair. It used to be very long and I would wear it curly most of the time, and I had the balayage done to it. And even though I loved the way it looked, I had to, keep up with it pretty regularly, and it can get quite expensive. And I decided to stop dyeing my hair when I had my second son. It wasn't really because of money. I just didn't really have time to go in and get it done because, you have to be in there for a couple hours. And so I just didn't do it. I let my hair grow out and I realized, you know what? I like my natural color and my hair is actually healthier. The ends were healthier than they were before. And I was happy with just my natural color. So I've kind of stopped dyeing my hair. Not that I will never highlight it again. I may one day, but right now it's been really nice to just leave it natural, to have it a little bit healthier, and also another way that I've been able to save money. Finally, the last thing on the topic of beauty and self-care is I am very selective about which products I buy, in particular makeup products, but also hair care, facial care, any beauty products that I buy that are either drugstore or the fancier, nicer brands. So when it comes to makeup, for example, there are certain things that I do like to get the high quality brands. In particular, anything that goes on my face, I splurge a little bit more. So I like to use the IT Cosmetics. I use their CC cream. It's quite expensive, but I just use a little bit of it. And I don't wear makeup every day, so that's also helpful. It's a way to keep my makeup, lasting longer, to stretch a little bit longer. But I do splurge on facial stuff. So I also have Born This Way, their multi-use sculpting concealer, but this lasts for forever. I've probably had this for close to a year because I just use so little of it. So for facial stuff, I do splurge on that, but then meaning stuff that goes on my face like concealer or foundation, anything like that. But then other things I will buy drugstore. So one of my favorite brands actually for makeup, for the drugstore cheaper makeup, is e.l.f. They have a lot of really great products. So I use their face primer every day every time I put on makeup, which is not every day, but I use their facial primer. I also really like their black eyeliner. I use the e.l.f. one. I have their kabuki brush that I use, which is really great. My absolute favorite mascara is Maybelline Full and Soft Waterproof. I love this stuff. I've been using this for years and I really have no desire to go buy a $20, $30 mascara. This stuff works great. So I stick with this. I have a couple more items. I know they've gone out of business now, but they were nice for kind of some less expensive stuff. This is one of their makeup brushes that I have. But anything like that, like eyeliner, lip liner, mascara, lipstick, lip balm, anything, I will buy the drugstore, the less expensive one, so that I'm not spending $100 to $200 every time I need to stock up on makeup. So that's another way that I like to save money. When it comes to like facial or skincare, I try to be selective. There's a couple things I splurge on. I have a facial serum that I use that's a little bit more expensive. But then like when it comes to taking my makeup off, I use jojoba oil. It's really great. You just put a little bit in your hand, you rub it on your face gently. You can get like a washcloth or one of those makeup brushes, makeup washcloths that can help take your makeup off. And as long as you're gentle with it, it's a really great way to take makeup off, and it's great for your skin. In my pregnancy, as I've been trying to keep my body moisturized, especially trying to avoid stretch marks around the belly area, I don't get the expensive creams to put on. I just have some vitamin E oil that I mix in with my regular body lotion, and I put that on around my belly, any areas that I feel might be prone to stretch marks. And thus far, fingers crossed, for all 3 pregnancies, it has kept me from getting stretch marks. So hopefully that trend will continue. I also like to use castor oil at night on my eyelashes and my eyebrows. It helps with growth, and it also helps to just keep them soft, and I don't want them to get too dried out from the mascara that I'm using or from any of the products that I put on my eyebrows. So the castor oil helps with that. Okay, the next category is in the area of shopping. So another thing that I do to help save money is I shop the weekly deals at grocery stores. And I will go to multiple grocery stores to get their deals. Thankfully, we live in an area where the 2 main grocery stores are within 5 minutes of each other. So it's not that difficult to kind of go from one to the other. They're not too far away from each other. But they always put out their weekly deals, and I used to just use the paper ads that we would get in our mailbox, but now everything's going online. So I have the app. for both of the grocery stores, and I will go and I will check their weekly deals and I will shop accordingly. And it's amazing how much you can save. If I did all of my shopping, I've actually done the numbers, I've crunched the numbers to see. If I just went to one store and I did all of my shopping without getting any of the rewards deals or the online digital coupons or being selective about where I shop and what I get at which store, I can sometimes spend $50 to $100 more on products because one store might be more expensive. We have one store in particular that's typically more expensive than the other one, but sometimes they have great deals. Just recently they had a deal on eggs where it was the cheapest I've seen at any store for a long time. So I stocked up on those eggs and saved myself $5 to $8 just getting those eggs. But you do have to plan ahead. You have to go onto the app. You have to sit down. What I do is I typically pick a day and I'll sit down, I'll create a meal plan. This is a meal plan that I've created for this week. And then I'll go through and I will write down which groceries I need for that meal plan. And then I will go into the app or on the weekly deals the paper deals that they pass out. And then I will see what's on sale at each store. And I will shop that way. And sometimes I'll even add up how much my total bill should be before I go to the store. And if it's above what my weekly budget is, I'll maybe buy a little bit less of one thing. I won't buy quite as much of it, or maybe I'll get a product that's a little bit less expensive. But I try to do that because groceries is one area that we always seem to go a little bit over in our budget. It's so hard to stay within a budget with groceries. They're getting so expensive and it just can be really challenging. But this is one thing that I do to try to help stay within our budget. We don't always do it. We often go a little bit over our budget, but this helps us to not get too much over our budget. So I highly recommend shop sales at grocery stores. Get the apps, get the digital coupons, and visit different stores to get their sales. If you have to go to 2 different stores on 2 different days, do it because that will help you to save money in the long run. Okay, the next thing that I do as far as shopping is I love shopping at thrift, consignment, or discount clearance stores. There is so much that you can find for really great deals. Just about a month ago, I went to our local Goodwill and I found a bunch of really cute button-up shirts for both of my boys. They looked like they had hardly been worn, especially with children's clothes. They grow out of them so quickly that you can often find pants or shirts that are hardly used. Sometimes they still have the tags on them for a fraction of the price that you would get them at the store or even at like an outlet store. So I found these shirts for $2 each. Cute button-up shirts that they can wear to church or for nicer events each week. It saved so much money doing that. I love shopping thrift for children's clothes, like I said, because they grow out of them so quickly, but also because it just saves so much money. But also for myself and for my husband, for our home. The downside to doing this, especially with thrifting, is you really have to have the time for it because thrifting is kind of like treasure hunting. You go in and 90% of the stuff that you see there is gonna be no good. And you're really hunting for that 10% that's like the golden coin, the treasure in there. And so it can be overwhelming sometimes, and if you don't have the time, it can be hard to do. But there are other ways that you can also thrift. So there's going to a local thrift store, there's apps online. I like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, or Poshmark for clothing and shoes. Those are all really great places that you can go and you can find discounts there. So I highly recommend doing that. My cousin also told me recently about a local auction house where you can go online and you can bid on different items. I haven't done that yet, but I'm really excited to try that because she said she's found some really great items on this auction site for a fraction of the original cost. So that might be another avenue that I look into, is trying to do the auctions. But thrifting, clearance stores, they're great. So I highly recommend doing that to help save money. Finally, in the category of shopping is I rarely buy anything new. That's not always the case. There's sometimes when we will splurge and we will get something new. If I can't find it used really, for a good price, or if it's worth the money, investing the money into it new, then that's fine. But by and large, you can find so much stuff used. For example, when my second son was born, we needed a double stroller. I did my research and I found a double stroller that I loved. It was about $800 to $900 brand new. I went online, it was hard to find it used because there aren't many used versions of this. But I went onto eBay and someone was selling it. It was new, but it was open box. So hadn't been used, the box had just been opened, and they were selling it, I believe, for $550. And it was a brand new stroller. It's the same exact stroller, brand new. It just was in a box that had been opened. And I saved $250, $300 by doing that. So I very rarely will just buy something brand new. I will go and I will either look at online, like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, or I'll go to a thrift store if it's a smaller item, like I said, clothing, anything like that you can get used. Poshmark is great for fashion, for shoes and clothing. I will always try to find something used before I resort to buying new. Even with our vehicles, now we have one vehicle that I did buy new back when I was single. I splurged and I bought it brand new, and we've paid that one off, so we are keeping that one and keeping it until it dies on us. But the latest vehicle, we bought a minivan, and that one we looked used. Buying new was just out of our budget. It was way too expensive, and it really didn't make sense. We found a great one that was a few years older, and it's been a wonderful van for us. So basically, I would say try to always look used first, and there's lots of resources that you can go to. Try to always buy used before you resort to buying it new. Okay, in the area of eating out, so we eat out very sparingly. Now, we are not sticklers about this. We will occasionally go out. Mother's Day was just last Sunday. We went out to dinner. I didn't want to cook. We wanted to go out and give me the day off. So we went out and we splurged and we had dinner out. So we definitely do go out to eat. We just are very sparing about how often we do it. Same thing with like coffee shops. I typically don't go to coffee shops. For a while, I was getting Starbucks once a week when I had my weekly piano lessons, and I just realized this is getting to be too expensive. It's really not necessarily necessary. I can make myself a coffee at home, and that's one thing that I would say, if you really love lattes or the specialized coffee like that, invest in an espresso machine. We got one as a wedding gift when we got married, and I still have it. And if I ever want like a fancy latte, I'll just make myself one here at home. I have the espresso mix, and I've learned the basic ways to make lattes, and I'll make one here at home, and oftentimes it turns out even better than what they have at the coffee shop, and it saves me $5 or $6. So I am very sparing about how often I'll go out to get coffee. Like I said though, I'm not a stickler about it. Sometimes I'll get a coffee if I'm meeting a friend, if I'm tired and I'm out and about running errands and I just need to pick me up, I may grab a coffee. But I try to really limit how often I get those. And then we try to limit how often we go out to eat. And that helps us to save a lot of money. The next thing that I do to help save money is actually to use a budget. I am still in the process of learning the best way to do this. I've been using a Google spreadsheet for my budget. It's not perfect, but it helps me to get a general idea of how much we can spend or we can afford to spend in each category. And then I try as best as I can to enter my receipts or enter our purchases maybe like once a week or once every 5 days, sit down and put in our purchases just to make sure we're sticking with our budget for that month. Otherwise, it's so easy to just, especially if you have credit cards, which that's the next thing that I'll talk about. But if you have credit cards, it can be very easy to just say, oh, it's just $5 here, or it's just $15 here, or $10 here. And then before you know it, you've spent a couple $100. And it can very easily add up if you're not keeping track of how much you're spending each month. And I've found that a budget really is the best way to go about doing that, so that you know how much can you actually afford to spend in that particular category, and how much are you spending, and what are ways that you can cut back. So that's one way that I've realized for us that groceries is one of the biggest spending categories for us. That's where we really need to do the most work with cutting back. We've done a lot better with eating out. Ever since we did our budget, we've been much better. We've been staying within our budget for eating out, but groceries has been a hard one for us. And so I'm really working to try to get that within our budget. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't have a budget and if I didn't enter all my receipts to try to see how we're doing. So if you want to try to save money, I highly recommend doing some sort of a budget. It can be very simple or it can be way more detailed. I recommend just start with something simple. Don't even worry at first about staying in a budget. Just track how much you spend. Maybe take a month or two to see how much am I actually spending in this category. If you find you're spending $1,500 a month on groceries, or $2,000 a month, or whatever, way going over your means, then you know that that's an area that you can try to reel it in and try to work on saving in that area. So budgeting is great. Like I said, I'm still a work in progress with this. I'm not the greatest with all the details, but I'm doing what I can to try to work towards being better about keeping a budget. The last thing that I want to share with you that I do to help save money is I actually use credit cards to my advantage. Now, I saved this one for last because this one can be kind of controversial. I know with certain budget advice out there, especially like if you're working to get out of debt. I know Dave Ramsey in one of his videos or series, he talks about not using credit cards and actually putting them away, or maybe going to like a cash system, or maybe just using a debit card. For me, what I've found is that I've been able to be pretty good about not going over with our credit card. So what I'll do is I'll treat the credit card like a debit card. So I have our budget, and we'll use the credit card and we'll keep track of how much we're spending each month, and I'll make sure that it stays within our monthly means. So whatever our monthly income is, we'll make sure that our total credit card charges, or our total expenses for that month, including bills, rent, all of that, doesn't exceed our monthly income. And then at the end of the month, I just pay the credit card off completely. And so I've done that for years using a credit card, treating it kind of like a debit card. But the nice thing about credit cards is that you can be strategic about how you use them and the rewards that you get back from them. So for example, I have a few different cards that I use for different reasons. We have the Amazon Visa, and we do a lot of Amazon purchases, and I think it's 3% or 5% you get back. It's a high number that you get back from using the Visa on the Amazon website. So anytime we do an Amazon purchase, I always use that Visa. And then you also get a high amount back for gas stations. So anytime we're filling up with gas, I use my Amazon Visa, and it's helped to save quite a bit of money. It goes back on your Visa balance, and then you can use that balance towards further purchases. So there's a lot of things that I've gotten for free because I have this balance that I can use to make my next Amazon purchase. So I use my Amazon card for that. I have another card, I believe it's the Citi MasterCard, I could be wrong, that gives you 5% back in a particular category. And so one of those categories is actually groceries. And I think it's for the first $500 that you spend, you get 5% back. And so I use that card anytime we're getting groceries, because that's a decent amount back. $25 a month that you're getting back if you're spending. Hey, that helps, right? And so might as well use that card for our grocery purchases. There's a few other cards that I might use for particular reasons like that, but That helps. I know a lot of them, if you travel a lot, we don't do a whole lot of traveling right now because we've got little ones, but if you travel a lot, I know there's a lot of cards that give you great deals back for travel points. So take advantage of those so long as you can stay within your means with the credit card. If you find that the credit card is actually causing you to spend more than you should, and you find yourself maybe going into a little bit of debt or having a balance left every month, then maybe put the credit card away, don't use it for a while. But if you find that you can stay within your means and you can be really good about paying it off at the end of every month, a credit card can be a nice way to get some rewards back and to help save money that way. So there it is, guys, 10 things that I do or don't do to help save money. Hopefully this helped to spark an idea in your mind of something that you could do to try to help you save money. Or if you have any ideas, I would love to hear about them in the comment box, because I find that people have so many great ideas and things that I never thought of before. So I would love to hear from you. If you've found things that can help you or that have helped you save money, please share them, because I am always looking for ways to try to help save here and there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see ya until next time.